Hello students, this video is based on the first part of the chapter The Black Aeroplane. Now before I start reading and explaining the chapter, I would like to introduce you with a short story of this, with a short summary of this chapter. In this chapter or in this story, there is one main character who is the pilot of an aeroplane. Actually, basically, he is living in England. His hometown is in England. But now, at present, he is in Paris. And in his plane, he's a pilot. So, he is going in his plane from Paris to England. So, when he is going back to his hometown, he is very happy to meet with his family members. He imagines and he thinks that now he will take breakfast with them. He will take dinner with them. He will take lunch with them, he will enjoy with his family members, because maybe after a long time he is going back to his hometown, to his family, to meet his family members. So on the way, when he is traveling in the plane, when he is flying the plane, he himself is a pilot, so he himself is flying the plane. So when he is moving in the plane, he is very happy from inside, very ecstatic mood he is having. Immediately the storm comes in his way, and all over there is darkness in the sky. The dark clouds surround his plane and he is not able to see anything outside from the window of the plane. Everything he observes that is dark and dark. So he is not able to find out the way that in which direction he is going. Either he is going to north, south, east or west. And even his radar, there is a particular compass, an instrument is there in the plane which tells the pilot about the direction, that in which direction the plane is moving. So even that compass had started not working, means it had stopped working, and now the pilot is thinking that whether I should continue to move on towards England or I should go back to Paris, because actually he is not able to find out the way in which direction to go. So his mind is in dilemma that where I should go. I should move to my hometown or I should go back to France. Paris means. Paris is in France. So there is a confusion that the mind is thinking, means the poet thinks that I should follow my wish or I should move according to the situation, because the situation is that the situation is not allowing him to move forward to the England, to his hometown. So he thinks that whether I should, according to the situation, I should act or I should listen to my mind and heart, and I should go back to my hometown. I should continue further. So finally he decides that he will not go back to Paris. He will move towards England only, whatever will be his condition or whatever will be the situation. So overcoming the situation, overcoming this problem, this difficulty, he continues his journey towards England. And finally, in the last, what happens, this we are going to read in the chapter. The Black Aeroplane. The moon was coming up in the east behind me and the stars were shining in the clear sky above me. So the moon was rising behind me from the east direction and the stars were shining in the sky. The plane flies in the sky, but the stars were above my plane, because I was moving below the clouds. Okay, so the stars were above my plane, and from the plane I could see that the stars were twinkling or shining in the sky. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. The whole sky was very clear. There was not a single cloud. I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside. Now it's a night time. The whole country was sleeping and I was moving above the country in the sky. So I was very happy to see that the whole country is sleeping and I am moving above them, all the people. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. Now the name of the plane is given in the chapter is Old Dakota. So I was flying this plane and I was moving from France back to England to my hometown. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I was very happy within my heart that now after a long time I was going to meet my family members, and I was on holiday, means I was working in Paris, but for some time I was on holiday, so I was going back to my hometown. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. Now I wanted to see what time it is, so I saw that it is 1:30 in the morning, midnight. I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. Now I have just left the Paris, and I thought that I should call to the Paris control room and inform them something. And when I looked downside from the aeroplane, I saw a big city which was full of lights. Means the people were sleeping in the city, but lights were there. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. So he just wanted to inform in the Paris control room that I have started my flight and I am on the way and I am going towards England. Maybe this is the duty of every pilot, that he or she has to inform in the control room that such and such plane has been taken off. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. So they talk about the name of, they talk in not with reference to the person, but they talk with reference to the aeroplane. There's a particular number given to each and every plane, whosoever flies. So according to the number of the plane, they talk to each other. So from the control room, from the Paris control room, somebody told that yes, I can hear you. Now you have to turn 12 degrees towards west. You have to change your angle, and now your angle should be towards 12 degrees in the west direction. Then only you will move in a proper way. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. So the information was given from the control room that if you will turn your plane at 12 degrees towards west, then only you will go towards England, because England is in that direction. You are moving in wrong direction. So after listening to this, after getting this information, the pilot checked the map also and the compass also, which showed the degree, because degree and location is shown on the compass. So he checked both the things, and he also checked the fuel, that how much fuel is left in the tank, because plane always flies with the fuel. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought, a good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. So the pilot was thinking in his mind that only some time is left to reach to England, and once when I reach England, I will take breakfast with my family members. And he was very excited at this thought, and everything was going smoothly. There was no problem in the weather or anything. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds, storm clouds. Now I have already left Paris, and I have traveled 50 kilometers from the Paris. Immediately I saw the stormy clouds in the sky. Till now the weather was all clear, there were no clouds, but immediately I saw the stormy clouds in the sky. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. Now they were just standing in front of the plane. The stormy clouds, they were coming in between the path or the way of the plane, and because of those stormy clouds, all over there was darkness in the sky, and they were very big, huge in size. I knew I could not fly up and over them. I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. Now it is the instruction given to the pilot that if the pilot faces any problem while flying in the sky, what he should do? He should move his plane round and round at the same position where he is, at the same location. He should move the plane round and round until the situation becomes normal. So the pilot remembered this, that I should move my plane round and round until all the stormy clouds are cleared from the sky. But he realized that he was not having enough fuel in his plane to move it round and round, because for that fuel was required. So that also he could not do, and he also could not move above the clouds, neither through the clouds, because they were stormy clouds, all dark clouds were there. If he will move above the clouds, or if he will move through the clouds in between, he will not be able to find anything, to see anything. All over there was darkness. I ought to get back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. Now the situation of dilemma was there in the mind of the pilot, that whether I should go back to Paris. Looking at the stormy clouds, I thought that I will not be able to travel this way now further. So I should return to Paris, and after some time I will again start my flight, and maybe I will reach somewhat late, but at least I will not be in some problem at that time. But his heart was not ready to accept that he should go back to Paris, because in his mind the same breakfast was coming again and again, which he has decided to have, which he has planned to have with his family members. I'll take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. So finally he decided that I will take the risk. I will not go back to Paris. I will move towards England only. Now whatever will be the situation, I am ready to face it. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. Now it was but obvious that they were stormy clouds, so the clouds were black in color. When he was moving through the clouds, he was not able to see anything outside in the sky. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. Now, as the pilot was not able to see anything what was in front of the plane, so the aeroplane started jumping and twisting. Twisting means moving around. I looked at the compass. I could not believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. Now, since I was not able to look through the way, so I decided that through the compass, I will come to know that at the position, the location where I was, means in which direction I have to go. The compass will guide me the proper direction so that I can reach to a safer place. But when I looked at the compass, I came to know that compass was also not working. It has stopped at all. It was dead. It was only moving round and round. Means the needle of the compass was only moving round and round. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Now finally I decided, I came to know that this compass, there is no use of wasting my time in this compass because it will not work. So I switched on to the radio so that I can talk to the control room for some help. Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. So when he tried to contact it to the Paris control on radio, he came to know that radio was not also working properly. It was also dead. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Means no direction he was getting from, neither from the compass, nor he was not getting any help through the radio from the control room. So he was totally lost. He could not see anything in the sky. It was totally dark. He was also not knowing that he was going in proper direction or wrong direction. Then in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. Immediately in front of me in those black clouds, I saw another aeroplane. I was flying one aeroplane and another aeroplane came just in front of my plane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. Now, when you see the plane, when you see outside the window from the plane, you see the lights on the wings. So that the person who is standing on the earth can also see that some plane is flying in the sky. But when I saw the wings of that other aeroplane, it was all dark. There was no light on the wings of the aeroplane. Means inside also there was no light. It was all dark. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. But this I could see that some person was flying the plane and I could see the face of that pilot. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. It happens now, if you are in some problem and if you are alone, then you feel very frightened. But in the problem also, if you have some company to help you or to give support to you, you become very happy, you become very excited. Similarly, the pilot was also very excited to see another person in this difficult situation, and he thought that maybe I will get some help, some guidance, some support from this other pilot. So he was very happy. A smile came on his face. and he lifted one hand, he waved hi to that other pilot. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. So the other pilot gave him the instruction that I understand that you are in problem, so you should follow me, you come after my plane. He knows that I am lost. I thought he's trying to help me. So this pilot of Dakota understood that now this other pilot has decided to help me, and he is giving me help also, so I should take his help, and he started following his plane. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. Now, he turned his aeroplane more towards me to the north, and he was moving in the front and my plane was moving at the back, and I was just simply following that plane. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. Now, if you see a small child obediently, blindly follows the parents. Wherever the parents are going, the child also follows the same direction. Similarly, here also, my plane was also following this, blindly following the direction in which the other plane was moving. I also did not know that in which direction we were going, but I was just following that plane. And that plane was strange for me. Why? Because I did not know who the pilot was of that plane. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now, for about half an hour, I was blindly following that aeroplane, and that aeroplane was moving in front of me. Now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. Now he knew very well that he was not having sufficient fuel to move that plane. Now he came to realize that only for 5 or 10 minutes more he can move this plane. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. So maybe the pilot of the other plane came to know that this pilot is not having sufficient fuel to move for more than 10 minutes in the sky. So the other pilot started moving down his plane, and similarly I also started moving down my plane. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw 2 long straight lines of lights in front of me. Now you know there is a runway of the plane, that when the plane comes down, he has to pass through that runway, he has to move through that runway, then only he stops, the plane stops. Immediately the plane cannot stop. So when the other plane started moving down and I also started moving down, I realized that I have come out of those black and stormy clouds, and when I saw downside, I saw a runway of lights. All over there was lights. It means if there is runway, it means nearby only there is a airport at some place. An airport, I was safe. So, and he understood that it was a runway, it means there is an airport nearby. It means now I am safe, I am out of danger. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. Now I was moving down and I turned back to see the other pilot, but I could not see any other plane at the back side. It had gone somewhere. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. I was now in the safe side, but the plane who has helped me in this difficult situation, I was not able to see that plane, neither the pilot. Maybe it had gone somewhere in the clouds. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. Now I was very happy that I was safe. No accident, no mishappening has occurred. So I came out of the plane and started moving towards the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. So when I reached the control room, I saw a lady was sitting in the control room, and I asked that lady that there was one more plane which was moving in the storm, in the stormy clouds. So where is that plane? And now I am not able to see, because that plane has helped me a lot. It is only because of that pilot I could reach to a safer side, to a safer place now. Otherwise any mishappening could have occurred. So I want to thank the pilot, but I am not able to find him. So can you tell me where the pilot or where that plane has gone? She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane up there in this storm? No other aeroplane aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So she started laughing and she told that, are you joking? There was no other plane, only you were flying in the sky in the stormy clouds and no other plane was there, only I could see your plane only on the radar. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? Now the pilot was very surprised. So that if now I am not able to see that plane, I am not able to see or meet that pilot. So which plane it was or who was the pilot who has immediately come for my help? I did not know that pilot also. Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? And one more interesting thing is there. The plane which has come to his help, there was no lights in it. Normally planes have lights. If the pilot wants to fly the plane, obviously the plane should have lights, otherwise how the pilot will fly the plane? But it was all dark. That's why it is called Black Aeroplane. Why the name of the title is the title of the story is this Black Aeroplane? Because there were no lights in the other plane. So this pilot thought that maybe some mysterious power, supernatural power has come to help him, to take him out of the situation, and now the power has disappeared. So what the lesson we learn from this story? That we should always act according to our situation in our life. We should not be you can say adamant to follow our wishes only, our desires only. Sometimes it happens that we have to curb or we have to stop following our wishes or our dreams, and we should act according to the situation, whatever situation is in the life. If any difficult situations come in our life, we should try to come out of it instead of being adamant or fussy. Okay, so this is the lesson which we learned from this chapter. Because it was only he wanted to meet his family members in England, and only because his adamant nature he fell in trouble. If he would have gone back to Paris, he would have been more safer. Okay, but he did not go back to Paris and he started moving towards England only, and because of this desire within himself, within the pilot himself, he fell in the problem. But ultimately some supernatural power came to help him. But this kind of supernatural power never helps all. It is only with few people. So you don't know what is going to happen. And it also shows the careless attitude of the pilot. Because before flying the plane, he should have checked the compass. He should have checked the radio. He should also have checked the fuel, that how much fuel he was having in his tank, so that no problem can be created in future. Okay, so we should not be very casual in our attitude, but we should be very sincere in all the things and all the actions which we do in our life. I hope the chapter is clear to you. Now in the next video, we are going to discuss the question answers of this chapter. Thank you.